Alright, so there's been a lot of Supernote information that's been put out lately, and I haven't had a chance to touch on it, so I'm just gonna make one big video touching on all the Supernote news. So let's do it. How's it going, everyone? Roger here, Rants About Tech. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me, please. And to the crew, to the office workers in the cubicles, to the nurses at the nurses station, what up, UK? Let's all hit the like button together. So like I said in the intro, it's been a lot of Supernote news going out, and I haven't had a chance to touch on much of it at all. So let's just jump right in. And the first thing we're going to say right off the top is that if you're waiting for a Supernote in 2024, stop it. It's not coming. I hate to be the burden of bear news. The burden of bear news. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And I don't like saying that. I want a new Supernote. I mean, I want a bigger screen. I've been wanting that for a long time, ever since they got me addicted on the platform. Now I can't stop using it, but I want a bigger screen. It's confining, constricting. But when I use my other 10-inch tablets, I'm like, I feel free. I want that size for the Supernote platform. So I don't want it to be next year, but unfortunately, we gotta be realistic. FCC filings, we're talking months after that filing before you got a device that's coming out. They could be shooting for Christmas, but I don't see it. I don't see that short after the FCC filing that they're going to just start ramping up production and have those ready for shipment. So next year would be my guess. And if you're wondering about the A5X2 Slim, I think they mentioned that in a letter to where they had to use some of the design language for that device in the new device. So I don't think we're ever going to see that one come. So, you know, you can forget that too. And speaking about the letter, the carrot letter, as I like to call it, when you think of carrot in the West, you think of a stick too. There's nothing good that comes from the carrot analogy. We just see it differently. And I would imagine a lot of other countries see the carrot analogy different as well. I want to believe someone sat in a meeting and was like, boss, are we sure we want to use the carrot analogy in this letter? We're trying to convey that we understand, even though we're not going to give them information. We're going to stop doing that. I get it. We don't care to pass along the information anymore. But along with that bad news, putting the carrot in there may come off as confrontational. I mean, when most countries hear the carrot, they also think of the stick. Sticks carry bad connotations. Sticks are bad. Carrots good, sticks bad. Are carrots even good? We don't know. They're good for your eyes. They are. Are we sure we want to do that? Absolutely. I mean, I get it. They're in the letter, they're closer to the carrot. They're not implying us, but by default, if they're chasing the carrot, we're waiting on it. Are we not chasing the carrot too? Regardless, it's not coming out this year. And I think that letter was almost like confirmation that it's not coming out this year. They were like, well, it won't be out anytime soon. So let's just put something out there so when it doesn't come in the next month or two, they're not like, what are you guys doing? And then expecting us to reply, because we won't. We won't reply. We'll just leave it. We'll leave it. And I get it. I know they don't mean any harm by the letter, but it's just how it comes off, right? But regardless, that letter plus the FCC filing let me know that the A5X2, not this year, but that made me think about other things that may or may not come this year, like the A4. I've been asked, is that coming out this year? Absolutely not. If they're not shipping that A5X2 this year, they're definitely not touching the A4X. So that's just a dub for this year. But 2025 is sounding like it's going to be a huge year for Supernote fans. Like, there's going to be some things coming out in 2025. So in that FCC filing that I spoke about earlier, there are finalized device stats. So let's go ahead and talk about those. All right, so first up, we got the display, and we have a Carter 1300 display, and by the specs that they released on their own, I don't think there was much debate about what kind of panel they were going to be using. It's 10.65 inches, the same as the Viwoods, and they released their own specs about it being 300 ppi, which I think at that point everyone knew it was a Carter 1300 display, but it's very cool to get a acknowledgement from them in the form of the FCC filing on this particular stat. Next up, we have stats on the processor speed, the RAM, and storage, which it sounds like people were kind of disappointed by, but I mean, taking into context, I don't think anyone should be disappointed. I think we should be happy about what they did here and not increase the stats beyond what they need to do for their particular system, because it keeps the cost down. But let's talk about these stats compared to other devices. As far as processor speed goes, we got a 1.8 gigahertz 4-core processor in the Supernote A5X2. And just by comparison, other devices are shipping like that or less than that. The remarkable Paper Pro basically uses the same processor. It's a 1.8 gigahertz processor running with 4 cores. So same stats. We got the eNote, which is running same stats as well. Its processor is 4 cores running at 1.8 gigahertz. So it's a real baseline right now for what's going on. I don't think eInk devices need much more than that right now, especially if you're just doing black and white. The Remarkable Paper Pro is using that speed, and it's pushing color too. So I think it's more than enough for black and white on a 10-inch device for sure. Because again, the Paper Pro is 11.8 inches with that processor and speed and color. I don't think we have any problem with the processor and the A5X2. All right, so as far as RAM goes, we have 4 gigabytes of RAM in the A5X2. And other devices are running a lot less than that. We got the Paper Pro running with 2 gigabytes of RAM. We have the Remarkable 2 running with 1 gigabyte of RAM. The eNote has 3. So, I mean, for a device in today's world of eInk devices, 4 gigabytes is on par. I don't think that's an issue either. So I think, these stats is what I would expect. Anything beyond this would be more than they need and would increase the price of the overall product. So, kudos to them for only using what they actually need instead of it being an arms race with specs. All right, for storage, we got 32 gigabytes of storage, and the Remarkable Paper Pro, I think, has 64. It's definitely beating the Remarkable 2 with 8 gigabytes of storage. But storage is a lot less of an issue with these kind of devices because you got access to online storage. And Ratta does a good job of integrating their Google, OneDrive, and Dropbox support into their device. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, so for weight, we have 370 grams. And for some comparison, we have the Remarkable 2 at 403 grams. The Nomad at 266 grams, and more importantly, the Go 10.3 at 375 grams. So it's even lighter than the Go 10.3. And I'm assuming all of this is without the half folio that you can get with the device. All right, so lastly, we have the battery size, and at 3,600 milliamp hours, it's about the same size as the Go 10.3 at 37 milliamp hours. But a lot less than the eNote that I just reviewed at 6,000 milliamp hours. But it should be good enough to get done whatever people need to get done for the period they are usually used to using their device for, which is typically about 2 weeks with these eInk devices. When you get more than that, it's a plus. Less than that, not that good. But if you can get 2 weeks on a device within the eInk realm, I think you're doing okay. And with a 3,600 milliamp hour battery, just slightly less than Go 10.3, and I definitely get my 2 weeks out of this. I'm thinking it's going to be about the same. So yeah. All right, everyone, that's going to be my Supernote roundup of information that I haven't touched on. I have a couple more things that I want to digest, but when I get that all taken in consideration, I'll make another video and put that in it. But thanks for staying with this, and thanks for coming by for this bit of information. But like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time.